Hello everyone and welcome. While making my recent video on everything we know about Breath of the Wild 2, where I covered almost every interview and announcement I could find, some of them really stuck out when Aonuma, Miyamoto, and Fujibayashi were asked about Zelda being playable in Breath of the Wild 2, or having her own game, and they were all really supportive of the idea, even giving a few of their own, mentioning they have tried it before with Spirit Tracks. It was an idea they had for Breath of the Wild, and it even reminded me of a previous Skyward Sword interview, where they had actually planned for you to play a second quest from Zelda's perspective, after finishing Link's. In the end, the only part of this left in was some of the cutscenes, which appears during the credits. It actually shows quite a bit considering the actual playthrough of Zelda was removed or not finished. Interviews with different people who worked on Skyward Sword state they actually had a lot more great ideas and concepts to add to the game, but didn't have enough time. Since Skyward Sword already had the longest development cycle of any Zelda game at the time, they didn't want to delay the game and take even longer. I have seen some people online saying this wasn't true and was just made up clickbait from websites or YouTube channels, but you can find it being said in Zelda Encyclopedia and Nintendo Dream Magazine. And I think possibly the Skyward Sword Iwata asks as well. Interestingly enough, some of the interviews have them saying they would like a game where you take on the role of Sheik, which at one point before Skyward Sword, there was concept art of a game just like this being made, which you can see a full video covering all of it and everything we know about that game by looking in the description or clicking the icon up top. Twilight Princess at one point was a direct sequel to Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and would have also featured Sheik, though probably not playable in it. A Link to the Past once had a playable female character, and Miyamoto has artwork of an official female Link made long ago. And of course we have the non-canon Linkle from Hyrule Warriors. It seems Hyrule Warriors and Age of Calamity were the games to finally give us playable Zelda, but what would Skyward Sword's Zelda quest actually have been? It seems this is an idea that many people at Nintendo have been wanting to do for a long time, but so far the closest they gave us was Spirit Tracks. Sadly, they don't really mention what the actual gameplay would have consisted of. We know Zelda comes in contact with various enemies, so how would she have defended herself or attacked? All she has is her harp. Or would it have been similar to when Link has all of his gear stolen and the game plays more like a stealth game? I could also see a less stressful version of the gameplay seen in the Silent Realm as well. Instead of giving us the entire full game experience, like we have with Link's story, our Zelda gameplay would presumably begin with the scene of Link and Zelda flying on their loft wing when Ghirahim causes the storm to appear and takes Zelda to the land below. This is when the first cutscene from Zelda's point of view begins. She is waking up on the ground in front of the sealed temple, and sees old Impa walking towards her. Presumably, we would see some dialogue here in the full version, but sadly we only get this. We do know they did communicate, as we find out Impa told Zelda to head towards the temple through the woods. We would also come across and speak to many other characters while playing as Zelda in Faron Woods. Gorko the Goron, Maki, and Busho all mention meeting Zelda and helping her on her way. We know this from our conversation with them as Link. At the end of Skyview Temple, we are told by Ghirahim he was close to catching Zelda, but Impa had stopped him. I don't know if we could make our way through the dungeon as Zelda, or if it would just take us straight to the end. Again, how would she do everything without the items Link has? I imagine next we would pray at the goddess statue and travel to Eldin, where we make our way to the Earth Temple and meet the Magma along the way. Impa seems to be watching everything unfold from a distance at this point, and doesn't make herself known until Zelda is near the final room of the temple. In the cutscene from the cut content, we see we would be playing as Zelda sneaking around and escaping from the bokoblins as shown in the scene. We are ambushed close to the end of the temple, where Zelda is saved. While they only mentioned Zelda was playable, I can't help but to think how cool it would be to play as Impa with her power and abilities. After praying at this spring, it is the first time that Link's quest and Zelda's cross paths, shortly before Impa and Zelda leave for the Gate of Time. From Zelda's scenes, we see her getting along with Impa, joyfully skipping to the Temple of Time, presumably not feeling as lonely now, and that she has someone to help protect her in case she's attacked again. Instead of a third spring, this time we come to the Gate of Time with the epic fight between Impa and Ghirahim. Playing this from Impa's perspective would be great, but again, We only know that we would have played as Zelda. Zelda leaves through the Gate of Time into the past. I'm unsure if they come out in the same place, but in the past, or if it also moves them to the Sealed Temple. In any case, we make our way to the Sealed Temple, and with Zelda's memories now restored, she knows what she has to do. While making her way to begin the seal, Link and her once again meet, where she explains it all to him, and after this, I presume the game would end, giving us just cutscenes next. Because from Zelda's perspective, she seals herself and wakes up in the future after Link has finished his quests. We would have another cutscene with Link before Zelda is knocked out by 𝗬𝗓𝗄. Then we would wake back up when Link saves us, and we have the same Skyward Sword final ending. I would actually like to explore Skyloft and the sky as Zelda, just to see different things the characters say, maybe a few of her own side quests, and even to see what happens after the original cutscenes. But what do you all think about this? Would you have enjoyed playing a short second quest as Zelda, or are you glad they left it out? I know it can be really divisive among Zelda fans if you mention playing as someone aside from Link, despite several Zelda games allowing you to do it. For those interested in our next video, it will be a follow-up or a part 2 to the Breath of the Wild video I mentioned at the beginning. Since as soon as I uploaded that video, Everything We Know About Breath of the Wild 2, I realized there was a few things I left off of that list, and some of you have sent me new stuff as well, so thank you. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hadn't seen a video fully covering it like this on YouTube or any articles online, so I thought I would give my thoughts on everything. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Hi everyone. If you enjoyed the video, please check out some of our other new videos. Before I say thank you to all of our amazing Patreon supporters, we recently had a new episode of our Zelda and Nintendo podcast, the Hylian Gamescast, where we discussed an official update for Breath of the Wild 2, Mario Kart DLC, some leaks, and the new Nintendo Direct focused on Pokemon. We answered some of your questions and more. We also recently uploaded a new video going very in-depth with interviews and official announcements on the Ocarina of Time beta, Zelda 64, Zelda, Zelda Gaiden, the 2000 Space World demo, and more. We also have a new video covering every interview, announcements, and official leaks on Breath of the Wild 2. We also have a follow-up video with interviews some of you have sent me, that I skipped over on that video, so it'll be coming out soon. And we have more videos on theories and cut content coming out soon as well. So please, subscribe so you don't miss any of those. A huge thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. If you're a fan of the channel, you can help support us on Patreon, where you can get a lot of great rewards. Have your questions featured on videos or the podcasts, have your topic, theory, news, or anything else discussed as a topic on the podcast. Sometimes join on the podcasts with us, be featured in a video, sometimes even watch videos early, and much more. I really need to say thank you, honestly beyond thank you, to the most generous Patreon supporter that I have, Shadow to Us. Thank you so much for everything. And thank you to everyone else on here as well. Justin Clark, Monica Spath, SOBERX, ANDREMOI, Joseph Stewart, Natsu, Wrecker1, Rusty Caulfield, Tremel Shefford, Ashton Wren, Belargnar, Chad Costin, David Guthman, Disappointment, Gus Calvo, Gene Pinna, Candy, Lovable Christie, Mr. Monocled Metroid, only donated to hear Jessie speak my name, and ZAIN. Thank you all so much. Sadly, I've still been having some internet issues, but thanks to all of you on Patreon, hopefully everything will be fixed soon.